All right, what up, everybody? This is the Mamba podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jackson, and today I got a special interview with someone I've been wanting to do something like this for a long, long time. My cousin Brandon, aka Big Brandoh.
Yeah.
And what up, man?
What's going on, man?
Much so, just real quick, let people know who you are, what you do, and stuff like that.
Big Brandoh. Used to go by NONSTOP. A lot of people know me by that. I'm doing music, clothes, graffiti, everything. A little bit of everything.
All right, for sure. And then I guess yeah. So that was before you said you did a lot of kind of like I guess you say subculture stuff like art, music, graffiti,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I guess growing up, like, what was the influence for doing like that kind of stuff?
Um, Graffiti was a lot of just all my homeboys that I grew
Mm-hmm.
up with. From there, it's stemmed from a lot of those dudes do tattoos now. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of those dudes do clothes. Um, some of them do pinstriping, sign writing, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So the art always kind of stayed around the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it was challenging everybody else. So the influence would be just your homeboys, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to be better than the next dude,
Mm-hmm.
going out writing, and then that just turned into rapping. It turned into
Mm-hmm.
creating clothes. That same competition and influence kind of just flowed all the way through. So it's kind of crazy being that the youngest dude out of all my friends that I grew up with, trying to stay on top of all those dudes,
Yeah.
kind of compete with them. And I'm talking like, I'm 6, 10 years younger than all
Mm-hmm.
these dudes. So being that I was looking up to them,
Mm-hmm.
I never really looked up to like, I don't know, like basketball players or
Yeah.
football players, stuff like that. It was always like, I want to be like my homeboys. I
Yeah.
want to be like these older dudes.
Yeah. All the big homies.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also there's a guest appearance, Lil KAINOA.
Yeah.
He's
Got my
over here
son
doing
over
his
here,
thing.
man.
So if you hear some noise, that's what it is. And then so I guess yeah, we'll go like starting off like what came first, I guess, more than anything out of all the stuff you've done, like what came first?
I would say probably a tagging. That was like
Mm-hmm.
one, I wanted to get my name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I used to roll with a pretty big crew that was already well known, so I kind of just fell into it because I grew up with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about like I knew these dudes from birth. Like
Mhm.
we grew up next door to each other since I was born. I've rolled with them. I
Mhm.
still roll with them to this day. But it was graffiti. It was tagging. That was like the main thing before music, before everything else. It was like, man, let me get my styles up so I could be like these
Yeah.
dudes. And then now I got to get my name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it progressed from tagging and then following into music. That like some of my homies started rapping. I was like, shit, I want to start rapping too.
Yeah.
So I'll just write down lyrics and stuff like that. But tagging was probably like the core.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking like for all my homies, like all the the pizza man's here.
Pizza's here.
We got pizza. And it's raining.
All right, well, where we had
Um shit, I don't
we
remember.
were just talking about the
We're just talking about tagging and shit.
getting how tagging went into the
Yeah.
rapping and everything else.
Oh yeah. Being that we were the only
there you go.
non-Hispanic family on our street, and my neighbors, everybody else was Mexican. Nobody ever seen me or my brother as taggers, so we
Mhm.
always got away with,
Oh,
when
I
other
got you,
dudes
yeah.
was getting busted and stuff. They never even thought about like even
Yeah.
coming at us or whatever. So it's kind of cool being like behind the scenes, but still having names out there that
Mhm.
people are like, man, who the hell are these dudes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to be graffiti writers and be taggers and be well known in the city,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody know who you are, but you could hear people talk about your name and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
exactly.
that shit's kind of cool, man.
Yeah. So did you go anything other than nonstop, or was it always just nonstop?
No, actually, back when I used to tag, everybody during the tagging
Mhm.
days knew me as Liar, Liar. That was my
Mhm.
my name, and one of my older homies had gave me that name, so I just kind of stayed
Yeah.
with it. And then after a while, the older homies ended up giving me the name Nonstop. That's because I used to sell a bunch of shit. Like
Uh-huh.
when I was in middle school, is kind of when the name came out because
Mm-hmm.
I used to sell fucking everything. In middle school, I was selling like IROC rims,
Uh-huh.
lowrider bikes,
Damn.
anything I could make money off of, I used
Yeah.
to sell. So I would get the shit from like Uncle Joe, from my
Yeah.
uncle or my cousins. Then I'll sell it to older homies or
Mhm. Whoever
anybody.
needed it.
And then it just turned into like, man, you hustle nonstop. So then it just stuck
Mhm.
after that. And then that's just how people kind of knew me from there. But it was
Nice.
just from fucking selling shit. I used to sell anything I get my hand. Like I didn't do the candy shit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I sold like I said, I would fucking go to like Alpine Village and buy bike parts, build bikes, and then fucking triple my money selling somebody a lowrider bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all right, well, so from that, so going into the rapping, because I remember like when I was younger, seeing like that was like the super cool thing. It's like, damn, like he's actually doing it. Like, how did that start? And then like when like you got steam and stuff like that, like, you know,
battle rapping. That was like
nice. That era.
What was crazy was my older homies, like I said, they were all older. They would take me to parties and then have me battle other people, and it was me and my homie's cousin. So my big homie David, rest in peace, he passed away. He used to rap. And then once he found out that me and his little cousin Vince rapped, then it was kind of like, shit, let's go to this party. I want you to battle these dudes. So he would start little ciphers somewhere within a party. And then once he found out who rapped at that party, then he would call me and my homie Vince Scatterbrain. He would call us in and just have us kill dudes. I'm talking like where dudes wanted to fight us after. And that was my homie David. That was like his big thing. He thought that shit was the coolest shit ever. And I'm talking like me and Scatterbrain Vince, we used to fucking murder dudes. Like, and what's crazy is when he got locked up when I was like in the 8th grade, I think. And we would send battle raps back and forth. I would write to him and I would write full verses, send it, and then he would send back a full verse. The whole time he was locked up, we would do this back and forth. And when he got out, that's when we both started recording music. That was like around 9th grade or so. So we still battled, but then that's when song structure and shit like that started coming in. I was like, damn. Then finding beats was really hard because we didn't have access to the internet. So we used to know other producers that would make us beats or would rap over. Like when you would buy a single, you would have the instrumental on there.
This is before like you can just download anything you want. You know what I mean? You have to like find the CD that was the single. Yeah, you
would buy the single and then it would have the single, the radio version, and then the instrumental. So then we would rap over those instrumentals, and we would do it like on a karaoke little box. That's how we used to record back then, onto a tape. And once we figured that out, how to write songs and then the actual song structure, because our lyrics were always like battle raps on a song, you know what I mean? And didn't make any sense or nothing. They were just kind of witty lines. And once we kind of figured out how to write songs, that's when it turned into like, all right, let's try to make a whole album, I guess, or a demo. At the time it was like making demos was like the cool shit. So
demo tapes.
So then throughout high school we would still battle people, and then he was like 2 years older than me, so we would battle people. He ended up getting kicked out of school, and then I would still battle people in high school. And then after that, it turned into like people got cars that we started driving, going to more parties, and then it was like traveling out to other cities to battle people. And then we would go to Carson, San Pedro, Culver City. We go to all these parties just to rap against dudes, and then kind of created a small buzz for ourselves that way. And then from there, it kind of just turned into like I wanted to still make actual music and make records, and then he still wanted to battle. So we kind of split up. And my brother at the time, he kind of managed us, and he put us in the studio. He was the first person to put us in the studio to actually record records. And at the time, my brother was doing real good, hustling, and he was doing it really good. So he fronted a ton of money for us to actually make an actual demo.
Nice.
So he took me, Scatterbrain, his little brother Tantrum, who passed away too, to the studio. My other homie, Big Z, G Giff, he brought us. We recorded a ton of songs, and then my brother made like a little demo, and he thought he was going to get rich off us, but it didn't work out that way. And then we ended up firing him because he never booked us shows or nothing. He used to take us to record, but that was it. And once we got a little bit, I guess, gained a little more knowledge on how the shit worked and what we needed to do, my brother had no idea what he was doing, so we ended up having to fire him to get real managers and book real shows. But at that time when we were recording stuff, what we would do is every song we recorded, we would put it on a CD and then pass it out to people. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I made a little buzz around the city. And then I just kind of noticed like, oh shit, like this actually works. People actually like it and they listen to it, kind of vibing with it. Now when I listen to those songs, that shit is cringy as fuck, man. Some of those earlier songs that I know my brother still has, they're bad.
That's what everyone says. You know, that's
bad,
what everyone always says. It's like You know what I mean? It's like anything is like the first time I did it, it's like, oh man, like dude, that was trash or
Yeah.
it was garbage. But
I thought it was like the shit back then. I thought I was doing it, and then now when I listen to it, I'm like, fuck, that is horrible.
yeah,
But going from that, it just showed me like going to the studio and then seeing how much money my brother was putting up for us was like, shit, I don't have that kind of money. I was working at Lady Foot Locker at the time, and I didn't really have the means to put myself in the studio. And then that's when home recording started kind of bubbling. This is when Pro Tools used to be only for Mac. Like you had to have a Mac with, I think, like a G5 or G4 processor to work with Pro Tools. If it wasn't that, then Pro Tools wouldn't work on anything else. So
and that was the best thing out.
that was the standard back then, and that's what all the studios were using. And then I started using Cool Edit Pro, which was
I don't think I know what that is.
that shit is actually now it's Adobe Audition. Adobe bought it.
Okay.
But before it was called Cool Edit Pro, and it was a stolen version off the internet. It was like it was licensed to some guy named Peter Quisgard. That was like the code, and everybody downloaded the same software, used the same registry.
Oh shit!
So what was crazy was it wasn't like Pro Tools. It was kind of like GarageBand. It was kind of like you could record stuff, and you're really limited. There's a ton of presets in there. Nobody really knew how to mess with it. And then from there, I just fucking every night I would try to learn how to fucking use it, master my vocals, make it sound better before. And then that's when I, instead of dumping money into a studio, I bought equipment. So I bought mics, I bought monitors, I bought everything I needed. And then I just started recording at home. Yeah, and then my house, or my mom's house on 166, became the studio, the garage. My dad helped me build a little booth in there, and then fucking that everybody who rapped in Gardena came to my house to record.
Oh, sick.
I was the first. I don't know if I was the first person, but I was one of the first guys to have a home studio.
Oh, sick. Actually
record people and pump out like quality music.
Like good
you know
stuff.
what I mean?
Nice, because you had all the stuff.
Yeah,
it was there.
And it was self-taught. Fucking with everything, I would like rap like a verse, and then I'll just try to manipulate the verse, and then after that, that's when it came down to mastering. I would learn how to compress my vocals. I learned everything on the fly.
Shit. And
what's crazy too is I had a homie that went to like an engineering school, but he had no idea how to do digital shit. It was reel to reel. It was like the old analog shit that he knew, and he had no idea how to do. Like he knew the basics. Yeah. But he had no idea how to get it into the computer and like fuck with it. Got you. Yeah.
So you know like all the like the old school stuff.
Yeah, so that's like super old school.
Yeah,
is like
sampling stuff.
Yeah,
like
the
that
real.
Kind of thing.
Like you have to wind the tape.
Yeah,
up
that's what I'm saying.
shit.
Yeah, like when they fix it up. Yeah, that stuff.
So he would come by and kind of help me out, and there's certain things like balancing vocals and stuff that he helped me with. But actually mastering shit, he had no idea, and then I kind of just learned it on the fly, and then. I met some dudes in an online battle rap chat room. Yeah, that show's called Lyric Wars. And I met some dudes on there battling. I battled against them, and I found out they lived in San Pedro. So then I hit them up and was like, "Hey, let's do some shit outside of the internet." And went down, and they had a home studio.
Oh, nice.
At their place. So then I hooked up with them. They had the same setup as me, and then they kind of showed me what they were doing. I showed them what I was doing. And then from there, that's how we like figured out how to master songs, like full songs. And I'm talking like punching in and out, mixing vocals, everything to where it's compressed. It didn't peak, clip, or nothing. So
nice.
And like I said, no schooling, no nothing. Like kind of just learned how to do it. And then hooking up with those dudes out there, they actually signed me to their label, which was In Too Deep at the time. They ended up picking me up. And when they picked me up, that's when I learned the business, I guess you could say. That's when I learned how some dudes could be shady, fucking how to get paid from promoters when you fucking perform. I started booking a shitload of shows with those dudes. And from there they were kind of startup dudes too, but they had two older homies that were in like a Mexican rap group or something like that, where they rapped in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
And they were already signed, so they kind of knew the game firsthand from those dudes. And they kind of just applied it to other shit. So once fucking with them, they signed me to their label, which was actually signing contracts and shit like that and making money. I thought I made it. You know what I mean? I was like, shit, damn, I'm signing a contract. We made it, this and that. That wasn't the case either, but I still cut like demos. I did albums with them that were sold in stores, shit like that, where you could actually make some royalties off of, which was like kind of dope. And I still see like royalty checks to this day still come in.
Nice.
For like $6 or something.
Yeah,
but it's still dope.
Someone used your song somewhere.
It's dope that it still comes out.
Yeah,
so
that's sick.
after messing with those dudes, my homie Big Z, he ended up moving to Arizona, and then when he came back is when I started messing with him again, and then that's when we really started recording. I mean, he ended up putting a home studio in his house, and this time we had better equipment. We were fucking with Pro Tools. I would still use Cool Edit Pro at the same time, but this is when we started like really pumping out quality shit, getting shit mass produced. We're doing, I think I did a mixtape. This is probably like in 03 maybe, and I moved over 15,000 fucking tapes on that shit, CDs, and I did everything on my own, pressed all my shit. I was independent at the time. I wasn't with In Too Deep no more, and it was just the grind. Like, you know, when people talk about like the grind, it was like fucking dumping my own money into this shit, not just burning CDs at home. We ended up getting a big ass tower that burned 10 at a time off of a master, with print on top, and then full CD inserts. Like, we're doing,
making your own like cover art and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then that's, I mean, designing comes into that, because I was fucking I was doing a ton of people's cover art at the time for mixtapes and shit, and everybody was kind of just printing the shit at Kinko's on their own, cutting it out. And then I ended up hooking up with somebody that worked at an actual print shop. I said, hey, they were making flyers, like the ones that people used to throw parties.
Yeah.
It would be like
the ones that are on all the like telephone.
Yeah, it'll be like a 3x6 flyer, all glossy. And I was like, hey, if you could just shrink that down to a CD cover size, charge me the same, because they would charge, I think, like $100 for like 10,000 inserts or some shit, full color front and back, UV coated. I said, hey, do that for these
albums.
Yeah, for these CD inserts. I'll do all the artwork, and then all you got to do is print it and cut it. Once I hooked up with them, it was over. I mean, I kind of locked it down. Now people were paying me to record at my mom's house, and then after they would finish their whole tape, I would charge them to master the whole shit. And then after that, I would be like, hey, I could fucking, we own the tower duplicator, so we would burn all their CDs for them, and I had the hookup at the print shop for the inserts. So the money started really rolling in when I would do shit for other people, not actually my own thing. And that's when the business side of it was like, shit, I make more money recording people. I liked recording people. Like, engineering people was dope. Like, mixing vocals was something that I really like doing still to this day. But it was because I had a like strong passion for writing is what kept me wanting to be a rapper. Like, I never really cared about the spotlight, but actually rapping was super dope. So once I kind of figured out I could do all this shit, record people, and then I could still write as a ghostwriter, that's when I dropped the dream of being a rapper. You know what I mean?
And that's what I was going to get into next. So I remember hearing stuff when I was younger. Like, me and my brother like had like heard like some stuff about that, and we didn't really know. And then like, I found out you were a ghostwriter. And I know, like we were talking about earlier, like you can't speak on a lot of stuff. But like the world of ghostwriting is so like, I guess like, out of all of like music, like ghostwriting is so like not talked about. And like everyone knows it goes on, but people just don't talk about it because of that whole reason. Like, it's ghostwriting. Like, you don't talk about it. But like, not trying to like out anybody or like ins and outs in that, but just like your experience of it and like what you went through and like how it worked for you. Like, how did you like get into it? How did it affect you, and how did you contribute to all that stuff? Like,
what I first started doing as a ghostwriter was writing hooks. There would be a bunch of dudes that I knew that rapped. They'll come to my house with a beat, they'll rap, they'll do their verse. They had like weak ass hooks. And then it kind of turned into like, hey, can you help me out with a hook, or can you write this hook? And then writing hooks with melody in it, or just writing hooks in general. And then they would put like featuring nonstop. And sometimes I would rap the hook for them or whatever. Excuse me. And then from there, some dudes would be like, hey, can you just write it and not do it? And I'll say it. Like, yeah, that's cool. And then I kind of noticed I wasn't getting credit for the shit. And
I got you.
And then I was like, fuck that. So then being a ghostwriter for those dudes doing hooks, they started having me write battle raps for them. They would memorize them and go to parties or go to battles.
I got you.
And then that's when I knew there was money in it. Because then I would be like, dude, I'll charge you $50. I'll write you an ill ass, like 20 bar battle rap. where it won't sound like it was written. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'll put like pauses and ums and shit like that
Yeah.
in there. And if you rehearse it this way, it'll sound fucking real, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't want to say who it is, but there's some dudes that still rap to this day that got on by using rehearsed battle raps that I ghost.
Mhm.
Me and some of my homies wrote for them. And what's crazy was from there it turned into, hey, I got this R&B artist that I'm trying to work with. Can you write? And I never written R&B songs
Yeah.
before. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's I was a rapper, so I found out that writing R&B songs was just writing poems.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. So then I already penned a ton of poems. So then all I started doing was turning poems I already had written into song form for them.
Yeah.
And then I would charge like $100 or some shit like that. Yeah. And then what kind of set me apart from other dudes that ghost wrote around my area was I would record like reference tracks for them. So they would give me the instrumental, I'll write, and then I would sing on a track on how it's supposed to sound. So then when I give it to the real singer, they can listen to it.
Oh, okay, exactly. I got you.
A lot of other people were just writing and then giving it to them,
yeah.
and they had no idea what the delivery should be, or they had no idea, so it'll be a different interpretation of what it was supposed to be. So I started doing that, stopped rapping, and then I just started ghostwriting for mainly girls that thought they were going to be R&B artists.
Oh.
They could sing kind of, but they not really. So
yeah, they just couldn't write. They had like, it's kind of like, like a lot of people now, like they have the talent.
Yeah, like they could
but they're
sing.
But they're just not a
Yeah.
writer. Yeah, they have exactly.
So then that's what I started doing. Was my big break into ghostwriting was doing R&B songs, gospel songs. The R&B songs that I used to write were around the time when Jagged Edge and like 112 were around, where it was like kind of like party.
Yeah, it was like feel good.
Yeah,
R&B,
feel
like,
good R&B songs, not just like super lovey-dovey, like
Yeah.
slow jam type things. So it was along those lines because at the time those are like Peaches and Cream and shit like that were like dope songs that R&B artists were doing that were like kind of poppy and
like R&B turn up.
Yeah.
Like,
so a lot of the songs were like that. It wasn't like ballads or nothing like that because I can't sing, so I really can't.
Not on some Brian McKnight.
Yeah. I can't do that kind of stuff, but writing those kind of songs ended up being fun. And then it was just the exercise of writing. And then from there, it hooked me up with other ghostwriters that weren't from my city no more and not from around here. So then the power of the internet, I started hooking up with a ton of different dudes that were ghostwriters. But they would do they put me onto this thing called the Writers Workshop, which I just found out is not around no more. What these Writers Workshops used to do, they would rent like a hall at the convention center, like one of the small halls. They would throw 100 ghostwriters in there, and then they'll break you up into like groups of like 5 or 6. They'll give you a CD full of beats, be like, create whatever you guys could create. So
are these like major labels coming to you with these beats?
They never said where they
came
came from.
Got you.
So what you would do is you would spend all day there. I would spend like 9-10 hours.
Damn.
Like a Saturday, you'll get the email saying Writers Workshop here, this hall, your registration number or whatever. Once you get there, you sign a paper which is saying anything you create in that hall, Writers Workshop owns. That's cool. So you write with collectively, like the brainstorming is dope with like-minded people, you know what I mean? Everybody's kind of like feeling something. You play the beats and you're listening and everybody's throwing out ideas. Then you start writing, then you compose songs. Like we would do like 12 songs complete and then ask for more beats to keep writing because there was still time. At the end of the day, you turn in all your publishing, everything you wrote, Sketchpad, anything that you did inside there had to be turned in to them with the CDs. And then you would get like, I don't know, like an email or they would call you within a week or two and be like, hey, so-and-so wants to pick up this song, which would be a label. Yeah. Say, they like this song. Can we get you and those writers here? Or they'll say, we didn't like those writers, but we liked you. Can you meet them here? And then from there, that's when the Writers Workshop still owns that song that's moving around. Yeah. And then you would meet in a studio with execs. And then they'll say, all right, we have this singer who is like, just like a backup singer, somebody that could sing. Yeah. You would work with them to compose the actual finished product of the song. And then from there, they cut you like, I don't know, $200 check or something like that, saying, all right, now we own this song.
Mhm.
Writers Workshop has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Writers Workshop used to get cashed out way more,
Yeah.
but what we would see would be the $200.
Yeah. So they were essentially kind of like a not like a buffer, but they were like the middle. Writers Workshop was the middleman.
That's what it was.
Gotcha.
They were the
Gotcha.
middlemen, and at the time we didn't know that big labels used it. But then once some of us started getting meetings with big labels, that's when we're like, shit, like a lot of songs must come from this Writers Workshop. And then a few of my songs got picked up, and I got the $200. I thought I was doing it like hell yeah, but you don't get no credit because Writers Workshop.
Exactly.
You signed over all the royalties when you first went to the Writers Workshop, and then it was under Writers Workshop. And when they sell it to the label, now the label owns it, and they could say, "Hey, we wrote this song," because they own the actual publisher now. Yeah, so that's where you kind of get screwed over. But as a like struggling fucking songwriter, that's where a ton of people would go just to try to get on and write songs and make the $200 check. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what we didn't care where the song went. The $200 was like the shit. You know what I mean? That's where we're like, oh damn. Fast forward, I wrote a song, shit, like in 2005 for Writers Workshop. That song didn't end up getting picked up and actually used until like 2009 or something like that. Like what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. You like what? You like completely forgot you
yeah,
did stuff?
I had no idea. And then I get like an email saying that song finally it actually went through a bunch of different labels. The song went to one label. They didn't like it. They held on to it. And then it went to they sold it to another label. So you're still kind of attached to it until it's final. All right, we're going to buy this from you. It went somewhere. And then I was like, yeah. And then even then it was like 08, I think, or 07, 08 when I found out that it was going to live somewhere forever where I got my $200. And then it actually came out, and then I heard it on the radio.
Oh.
And that song I can't say, but that was like one of the biggest fucking like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the song.
Yeah.
And there's 2 writers that I worked on it with, and we ended up like fucking texting. And I think at the time, I had a sidekick, and I was fucking, I think I hit him on AIM, and I was like, yo, the song's on the radio. This is who's singing it. It was for a brand new artist. We didn't know who it was, but the song ended up being fucking huge.
Oh, damn.
And we got $200 for it. $200 plus the $50 for being a part of that day at the Writers Workshop.
Damn.
And from there, it like I have a country song that did pretty good too, which is fucking pretty crazy.
Actually, that's great. That's the thing. Like, I remember like when me and my brother found out about it, we were like, "What?"
Yeah,
like, it's just so
fucking,
it's just so funny.
And
like,
that one came off of a poem too. And the poem was actually framed at my mom's house for the longest time that I wrote. And I would say like 98 or something like that. And I had penned this poem, and then my brother, when he was in middle school, they framed a poem in school for him. And it was like something about birds flying high or something. And he was high when he wrote it. So he thinks it's the funniest thing. Well, they framed it. And then my mom ended up hanging it up. And I was like, man, this poem sucks. So I had penned another one, and I framed it myself, and I hung it up on top of my brother's. Oh. And nobody noticed for the longest time until my brother, because my brother didn't live at the house at the time. And then he was like, man, what the hell is this? And then he thought it was a dumb poem, but that poem ended up falling into really good hands in a Writers Workshop thing. And from there, that's when it ended up getting picked up. And that was one of the situations where I was 6 writers. They said, we don't like the other 5, but we want to work with you. And then I ended up going to the studio with them. They liked it, composed a song out of that poem. And then fucking, that was it. And it was a damn country song, which was like super fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like, don't listen to any country around
here. I have no
man.
idea about anything country, but it was like a collaborative thing where it was like they took the idea of my poem, they kind of gave it to some other writers, they kind of worked it into it, and then the actual artist wrote on it too and was like, this would be dope for here, here, here. And then that was it. I never met the artist or nothing like that, but hearing that on an actual album that did really good was really fucking dope. It wasn't a big single or nothing like that, but it was actually on the album. No, so the placement was super cool, but yeah, I still didn't get, I didn't get no money for it. I got $200 and that was it. But that ghostwriting shit, it's a real, if you're not doing it for yourself and you're doing it like that, it's a real struggle, man. The grind is super crazy.
That's why, like, I was gonna ask, like, how, I guess, like, I don't know, like, how do you think, like, you know, like, everyone thinks that what's Drake's homie's name that does all his writing for him, supposedly?
Oh yeah,
allegedly, don't want to get
yeah. My wife's like a big ass Drake fan.
She just popped in and did all this, right? So allegedly, you know, he does all the writing for him. But then but it's like he's obviously like does well for himself because he's part of OVO and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the way from like as an outsider's perspective, like from our perspective, when I see that, it's like if he is.
Yeah.
Then, you know, like, they obviously have some kind of, either whether it's under the table handshake deal or something where it's like, but it's between them where, like, hey, man, like, I'll help you write this song.
Yeah.
However well it does. You know, like, whether it's, like, they get a percentage of, like, the sales of the song, whatever, you know, like. So is that am I kind of on the right path, I guess?
You're in the right
area?
This is kind of weird, though. It's ghostwriting's cool for R&B songs, stuff like that. It's accepted.
Yeah.
You know, people be like, yeah, I didn't write this song. So-and-so wrote this song. And they'll say it, which is super cool. But for rappers, it's a whole nother thing. Because as a rapper, you want to be, these are your lyrics. This is my story. Yeah. You don't want to rap somebody else's shit or whatever. And along the lines of that is, if Drake told his homie, said, hey, man, Quentin something.
Yeah.
If he said, hey, Quentin, you know, can you help me rap? I got writer's block. Can you help me out? That shit's kind of cool. But then the money side of things would be strictly either under the table or it'll be written as like a
contract type thing. Or...
Yeah, it'll be written as a contract, but you won't be a writer. You'll be a contributor.
Yeah.
That's whenever you see contributor, you could have rang a bell on the shit and that's what they would say. So it doesn't actually say what you did for the song, but you would still get your royalties. You'll get a check if you're not just getting cashed out up front. Because you would hate to get cashed out up front, and then the song does huge, and then you won't see any money on the back end. Yeah, the way to do it is to actually get the royalties, and then you know, even if you're making 5 cents on a download or something or whatever it is, at least you're gonna be killing. You know what I mean? So the way I know that it works for ghostwriters is, if you're writing for a rapper, it's always fucking super down low, under the table. I'm talking like that shit's under the rug type payment because they don't want nobody to know.
Exactly. So writes myself.
Yeah. And there's some rappers like Diddy who doesn't even care. Like, they rap, but they want a dope song, so they go to a writer and say, write me a dope song. I could pay for it. Yeah. There's some guys that actually, you know, they take responsibility for it, and then there's some guys that still want to put on the persona that they write their own shit and stuff like that. The credibility of the whole thing,
their brand and who they are as a person,
which is kind of dumb. Like, if you're gonna pay for the song, like, shit, might as well pay for a hit. Like, dude. I would. But when it comes to like the ghostwriting of like R&B songs or pop songs or stuff like that, like shit, like I think her name is Sia. The one she wears like crazy wigs.
She was a song.
She's a sick ass fucking writer.
She's a writer for a long time, right? Yeah. And she just decided to kind of finally come out and do her own stuff, right?
And I think what was crazy about her was she came out. She was a ghostwriter, then she came out, and then she got like flack for what she looked like. So then that's what made her go back to just ghostwriting. She didn't want to be a star, and then I guess that's why she wears the wig now. Is so people don't look at her and just hear her music. She writes dope ass songs, and she's written hits. Like she's written big ass songs. So, you know, if you're good at the shit and you could sing, like she has dope ass pipes, so she could sing. But like I said, like for R&B and pop, like it's cool to be a ghostwriter where people say, yeah, so and so wrote this for me. You know what I mean? But if a rapper came out and said, yeah, this dope ass song, rapper, you know, somebody wrote this for me, people would be like, they'll kill him, man. The internet will fucking eat him up, dude. So that's kind of hard.
But just from this is, I don't know if other people think this, but from clarity from me. So I love The Dream. Like I've been fucking with The Dream forever, like forever, right? Yeah. And so he has his own career, right? But he also wrote Baby for Justin Bieber. He wrote Umbrella. Yeah, he wrote Beyonce songs. He did all this stuff, right? So, and he actually gets credit for that. Yeah. And so it's like written like on like if it were like I don't know what it's called, like liner notes, or if it's like if you were to get a vinyl album, you open the sleeve and it's like written by it'll say written by Tyrese Nash.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know why. Like, how does he get credit for that as opposed to a ghostwriter only getting the 250? So he'll continue to get like he doesn't have to have his own career. He can bank off all these songs that he writes for other people. So how does he get the credit, the writing credit, as opposed to like maybe like you or another ghostwriter or something?
He's like an established person, so it's kind of like
you're paying.
You want people to know that he wrote this. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's kind of what I was.
It's like this is a dream song, and then that's when like Neo did it for like a while as a ghostwriter, and then once Neo became Neo, then people wanted people to know like he wrote Beyonce shit too. Like it's kind of like Neo wrote this, and that's when it kind of turned into like not cool to have a ghostwriter, but you want a song from him. Like you want a song from Brian McKnight.
Yeah,
you want Smokey Robinson to write your shit. You know what I mean?
Because then it's like you're associated. Like I worked with.
Exactly.
Or like you can tell him it's like, oh yeah, I worked with The Dream. It's like, whoa, you didn't say he wrote my whole song for me. But like, I worked with him. I worked with him or her or whatever. But but okay. I was just, like I said, just for clarity, because it's like, man, like.
And then too, it's all in the contract too. How you want it to be perceived. Like they could actually promote that it's the Dream song or the Dream wrote it, or he could just get the royalty money and then just his name in the credits. It just depends on the contract how big you want it to be known of what he did for the song. You know what I mean?
That's why, like, just for the people that don't know, like, if you see like on like mainly again with The Dream, like that song No Church in the Wild, like when that song won like a Grammy, like Jay-Z was there, I think, like, and then Kanye, Frank Ocean was there, and then like everyone's like, why is The Dream on stage? It's like he like put that song together. He like wrote it and put it together, and then like they just performed it, and everyone's kind of like, why is he on stage? Like, what the heck? What does he win? And like, what does he get? Because it's like he has so much to do with it, like kind of outside of it.
Yeah, when I found out Neo wrote Irreplaceable for Beyonce, that was like mind blowing because he wrote like the biggest anthem for a girl,
and it was from
a guy.
Wrote it. The dude wrote it.
That is the craziest thing to me. And a lot of people didn't know he wrote it because it wasn't announced that he did it. But
or maybe it went by like his real name, and like, people don't know, like, well, who's that? Like, okay, and then also you find out like kind of thing. Yeah,
but that's like, to me, that if for one, if I passed on that song, like say Neo gave that song to another artist and they passed on it and said, no, I don't like that one or whatever, then Beyonce takes it and turns it into what it is. You got to be an idiot. Like you got to feel stupid as hell.
Because I'm sure that happened.
Exactly. I think that's how it went. Was he shopped that song around? Beyonce heard it and was like, "Shit, I'll take it." And that's how it worked. Like the Alicia Keys and Jay-Z record, the Empire, that one was another chick, and then another chick wrote it, another chick sang on it. Then Jay-Z heard it. Alicia Keys ended up doing it because it's a better fit. But it was still the girl's publishing. Like she was the one that wrote it.
Okay, nice.
And then she kind of just got taken off the song. Nice. Alicia Keys made it. I mean, it's better with her on it anyways, but...
I mean, like, I was trying to get to other stuff too, but just real quick, you were talking about, like, the publishing part. Like, that's kind of, like, a big thing right now going on. Like Andre 3000 was talking about it. And, like, a lot of people I know that do music also, they're like, oh, I'm like, oh, man, that song's tired. They're like, isn't that, like, what happened to that? And, like, oh, man, like, I'm beefing with, like, the label because they own my publishing rights, so I can't do a lot with this stuff. Yeah. And so, like, just, like, quickly, I guess, like, how does that all work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, it's just like, obviously it's a sale of something. You're selling something. So, like, there's a deal where it's like, you know, I'm buying it for $200.
Yeah.
You know,
so what you're buying is the actual written part of it. You're not the performer. You're not anything else. No. You're not the producer. You're just buying the words.
Literally words,
And that's all that you're buying. So when some people are saying, like, they're having, you know, beefs with publishing and stuff, it's they own, the artist would own the song, the label would own part of the song, somebody else would own the publishing. So a ton of different people own pieces of the song. The producer owns the beat. They might have sampled something, so that company owns that piece. So everybody has a say on what you could do with that song, or where you could go, or what you could put it on. If you could put it on a movie, some people don't want it on there. You know what I mean? So having that many hands in the pot for one record could stop the whole show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's why
The Robin Thicke thing, right?
Yeah.
Or the Robin Thicke Pharrell song. Yeah.
that thing, it worked out the same exact way. Jay-Z with the Reasonable Doubt album.
Oh.
He wanted his publishing. Dame Dash owned a piece of
Yeah.
it still because it was
Yeah.
still Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And then he ended up, and then Def Jam
Oh.
owned Rockefeller.
Oh yeah. You're right.
So he
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up becoming the president,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then owns everything.
Yeah.
now.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the, when it comes to songs, it's like somebody owns the publishing, producing, the performer owns a piece of it. So there's a ton of different pieces to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. When there's so much money involved, it's like always, that's why everyone's gonna be button.
There's some people that want it to go big, and then there's some people that say, no, I don't want that to be on that movie, or I don't want it associated with this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, but yeah, I guess just moving on from there. So, like you were mentioned earlier about how you did you did all your album artwork and stuff, and other people's stuff too. So, and that led into the stuff that you do now, right? And like, and then people, like, if you don't know, like, you can just explain like what you do now.
I own a clothing company called KAINOA KREATIONZ now as a whole. I operate a ton of different companies underneath that, which was Gardena Originals. Do a lot of stuff for the South Bay. Right now I'm working on Leftovers. But before all that, I also had a brand called SB Creeps that did pretty good too. And that was more of a testing out period, you know what I mean? Trying to get a feel of the game or whatever. But it was only because I used to design cool shit, and I just thought it would look dope on shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Like same similar kind of stuff. But I was just gonna say, because I had written down, I was like, oh, like who, like where did, I guess, or like when did, like, after, was there anything between like doing the clothing stuff and like the creative stuff and then the music, or was it just kind of flowed right into it?
It was actually I used to do I got into silk screening, like just doing my own stuff at the house, and then I would do shirts for myself, and then I would do promo shirts as packages for other artists. Like, man, I could bang out 24 shirts for you at the house.
They could sell it as merch at the event.
Exactly. Or throw it out at shows, or do whatever. You know what I mean? And from there, I was like, man, I could just do my own shit from here. And then that's when building a brand still wasn't in the grand scope of things. It was still just like, I want to make a shirt to match these Jordans, or I want to make a shirt that says this because I think it'll be cool.
Or to match my SBs.
Yeah.
Match my hat. Because I always remember, like, I always tell everybody, like, yo, can't be fucking, my cousin always got, if whatever SBs he gets, he's going to have a fresh pair of 501s, a t-shirt to match, and a fitted hat to match. It's always,
that was like,
that's always the way it's going to be. And like,
and that stemmed from high school. That was like a high school thing where it was kind of like everything match. And now it's considered too matchy, I guess. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But back then it was having everything hooked
match,
up, look dope, man. That was like the cool shit. And then SBs being that it's I used to be super into sneakers too. But SBs used to come out with like ill ass colors.
Yeah,
so
just like wild stuff. And it's like, damn, like,
so finding the shoe was dope to hunt for that one shoe, and then finding something to match with that dope shoe was, I just like the thrill of the hunt was cool for me. You know what I mean?
And just being able to come up with like the coolest shit, and like, or like wearing like I don't know, like I said, like there'd be like SBs in like the 2000s that had like the craziest colors. You know what I mean? Like the wildest stuff would go together. Like a Dia de los Muertos, like purple, orange, and like green,
gnarliest
and like
colors.
And then like, okay, like I got these shoes, like now I gotta find a shirt to match it,
exactly,
and a hat to match it. Like whether it's making it myself, or like I said, if I can't find it, I gotta make it myself. And so like, I remember you always have like shit that you always had that shit that would match.
Yeah, and what's crazy too is now that we just moved over here, I have a big ass box full of fitteds that they still fit, but they're just ill ass colors. Yeah. And for a lot of those shoes I've sold since then, but I have a ton of hats now. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, what am I, like, I'm not going to wear a pink hat no more, you know what I mean? Or like just crazy shit like that no more. I wish I would have thought about it before when I was buying it. But but back then the shit was cool, man. I used to think I was on, man. And there's like cats like my homie Damien, Skate the Great on, that dude does it. He's did it since high school. And he still does it till this day. And he still kills it. I mean, in high school, he was the only dude that was rocking Iceberg before Iceberg was popular. And people were like, why does he have cartoon characters on his shit? Not knowing that he was on top of something already. And he used to have every J. And we used to work at Sporting Ideas together. This is a old skate shop in Gardena. And even back then, he would find like ill ass skate shoes and then match them down with like crazy ass polos or Tommy jackets and shit. And he's always been like that, and he still does it to this day, and which is dope because a lot of people aren't into matching no more. You know what I mean? It's like cooler to not match, but he'll still do it from the hat to the socks, everything.
Yeah.
He still kills it.
He got the crazy outfit grids and stuff.
Yeah.
Like anyone can match like white with gray with black.
Yeah.
But, like if you got, you know, a pair of like Ginger 14s. Like,
yeah.
That's like that bright blue with like a little yellow and stuff, and then like you gotta match. Like,
you gotta have everything is always on, and it's crazy.
It's like the shoe is blue with yellow accents. You gotta have a hat that's blue. With it can't just be a blue and yellow hat.
Yeah,
like there's a process that goes into it, and like when people like see it and appreciate it, like that's always cool, and like to see people like, you know, other people appreciate it so much, like you know, that's always cool.
And that was the thing going into clothes was making shit that matched shoes, which was always dope to me, and then having something that nobody else had. So that was like a big thing, making shirts at home, mixing crazy inks, and then even going into like vinyl stuff with heat press. You could bang out shirts on your own and then match shoes. Like matching De La Highs was like the hardest thing for me ever. It's like brown, green, orange. There's so many crazy colors that go into it, and matching that, I just made my own shirt to like match it. You know what I mean?
It's like I can't find it, so I'll make it myself. And then, you know, if someone's like, and then they kind of like, what is that? Like, where'd you get that? Like, I can't find anything for that.
That's
either.
What it turns into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so you started getting into designing, like, I guess, like, what was, you know, we were talking about like inflation, like the influence as far as if you can't find it yourself, just make it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what was with the South? It started with South Bay Creeps. Like, what did you kind of do? What else did you kind of do with that? And then like from there, where did it go?
Yeah, South Bay Creeps was me and my homie Bob the Barber. We started that because we're both into sneakers, and we did it. Every shirt we did matched a specific shoe, and the ill thing was making something like, say if like Fire Red 5s were coming out Saturday, we would knock out shirts that Monday throughout the week to have to match those Fire Red 5s on that Saturday. So we would hit up a bunch of people that we knew were getting the shoe. Hey, we got this shirt. And then that's how it just kind of progressed from there. Then we started going to Oktoberfest, little Alpine Village, and we would wear our shirts there. And then that's when customers rolled in.
Eyes are going to be, you know what I mean?
Everybody was like, damn, that's a dope shirt. Then we just started bringing shirts. Then we started hitting like, when people were like camping out for shoes, we would hit that camp out line because we knew what shoe they were going to buy. We would roll up with the shirts and be like, hey, we got a shirt that matches the shoe that you're going to buy. And they all got cash on them. So everybody, that was like an easy sell. Undefeated, we would always cruise undefeated for the camp out lines. Jump, there's a store.
On Prairie, right?
Yep. We would hit Jump.
I used to get my Vans there when I worked over at the hardware store.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because like the dude's Korean, and they were like $10 cheaper, and I'd just like say something to him in Korean, and he's like, oh, you give me like no tax or whatever. And I'd make sure I pay him cash. Like, hey, I'm paying in cash. And he's all right.
Yeah, and that was the SB Creeps. It was one because we were super into SBs early 2000s, and then Creeps because we had a homie named Ruben. Some chick called him a creep, and we thought it was like the funniest shit ever. So we just started going by the Creeps, man. And what was crazy was nobody really knew the name. It was SB stood for South Bay. Yeah. But SB, popular thing with Nike. So then a ton of people that were into SBs, and all our shirts matched them. That's how we got most of our customers. And this is before like the online store thing too.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell like this was like before all those goofy dudes were making,
like Big Cartel and all this stuff. Yeah. This was like back when we would sell them out of our bags and shit like that. And a crazy thing that we used to do too was Laker games, when they keep them under 100, they give them free tacos. Yeah. So what we did was made a ton of shirts that said "We want tacos" in purple and gold. Went to Staples Center and just fucking sold them. Like, you know what I mean? And we would sell out every time we did that. And we would just put a little logo, SB Creep logo on the back. Nobody cared about the logo.
All they saw was the
we want tacos in a Laker color, and they could wear it into the game. And we used to do fucking really good with that. But it was just hustling. It was making something that people liked. One, designing something that people like is kind of cool because they're wearing your artwork, and then making a little bit of extra money on the side. So after SB Creeps, that's when I kind of got the itch to create a different brand outside of sneakers because I kind of seen how things were going. A lot of people were getting into like higher end streetwear stuff like the Hundreds and Crooks. We were talking about this earlier, and you can't compete with that kind of shit when you're a startup. So what I started doing was falling back from the sneaker thing and then kind of thinking about, all right, what happens around the city, shit like that. What are people into? And I noticed nobody was making shirts for Gardena. That's when Gardena Originals was made. It was kind of like nobody makes a shirt that says Gardena, or even if the shirt says Gardena, people will buy it that live in Gardena.
Yeah,
it's
no
just
matter
people
what.
love
Like,
the city
yeah.
so much that it could be a restaurant shirt and they're
Yeah.
wearing it and it says Gardena, so they think it's cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like my uncle gets us Gardena Bowl t-shirts. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I love that shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. It's like a Gardena Bowl shirt. Like, I'm always wearing it.
Yeah.
I wear it like whenever I can and stuff. But
And I kind of noticed this because of we would send clothes to Hawaii to my uncles and my cousins in Hawaii, and it'll always be they'll send stuff that says Hawaii.
yeah,
Or shit cities from where they're from. They'll send it to us. And we're like, hey, let's send them Gardena shirts, and we can't find no Gardena shirts. So that's when I was like, fuck it, like let's
nice.
just make it. And then it was just a quick idea that I had thought of, and at the time, Sons of Anarchy was super popular. And then that's when I ended up making the first Gardena original shirt with the little skull and make it look like a motorcycle,
club kind of thing,
club vest or whatever. And it did good. I mean, we sold a ton of them, and going forward, that brand wasn't even a brand. It was just kind of. You all right, bud? Here, lay down with Mike. You okay? Oh, mama.
he just like got up and was like
Looking
stressed,
around?
Yeah, stressed out a little bit.
Like, what the hell's going on in here?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so ended up we did those Gardena original shirts, and then from there we also did I worked really close with 110 South, which has been a brand since '98, and I was always down with one of the designers, Raw Tunes. There, we've been super cool.
Yeah.
When I used to rap,
big up one his out for real though.
When I rapped, they ended up signing me, and I used to get paid to wear their shit. Like that was like a super big endorsement for me, and they backed me everything I did, every show I did. They would throw me shit to throw in the crowd. They really looked out for me. Built a really dope relationship with them, and then me and Raw Tunes ended up working on a ton of stuff together. I mean, we used to design shit together that didn't even release, but we would throw designs back and forth. You know what I mean? And when I started doing Gardena originals, Raw Tunes started pumping 110 a little bit more, a little bit heavier, and then from there, that's when these little parking lot pop-ups used to start up. And then what I did was so with the parking lot pop-ups, what we did was just park in an empty parking lot, pop our trunks, tell people to come out and buy shit from us. And it's the food truck fucking
kind
format.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like we'll tweet out where we're gonna be, come get the food, and we did that with Gardena Originals, and that's what blew Gardena Originals up. And it was only because I threw that idea with 110 and was like, hey, let's do this together, because I kind of wanted to use their following to give me some credibility of where I'm at. And then,
exactly.
I kind of noticed that more people were coming for Gardena than 110, and the 110 crowd kind of wanted more of a established area to buy from, like a store, because they were already in stores and shit.
Yeah.
So once we started doing these pop-ups, it kind of just turned into like, it went crazy. We would draw a big ass crowd, and I would pull up right there where the In-N-Out is now on Western and Artesia.
Oh yeah.
And before there was nothing there. It was a Burger King that was shut down.
Yeah.
And I would pull up there, and we would pack the fucking parking lot. I would sell out of everything that I brought, and shit ended up being really dope. And from there, we moved into selling at Brandoh's. I have an uncle that owns a bar called Brandoh's, and he gave us the opportunity to sell inside there, and it made us look a little bit more established, and a little more controlled crowd, and wasn't just selling out of the trunk. But when I say selling out of the trunk, that's exactly what the fuck we were doing, was popping the trunk and just posting the parking lot for like 3 hours till we sold out. And you know, it worked. There were some days that it would be kind of dry, but most of the time we pulled a dope ass crowd. And from there, I kind of just seen how things were working. But that shirt, or Gardena Original, sold itself. It's because the city is in the name, and anybody will buy anything that says Gardena. So the money was good, but it just kind of limited me to what I could design. And that's why I started KAINOA Creations as a whole, because I do a ton of stuff. Shit for sneakers, I do the shit for the city, I do stuff for the South Bay, I do all kind of other stuff. And I needed more of an outlet to get more shit out because now I had the business side of things down. I was actually legit, had a wholesale license, registered business name, actual business owner. And then it was kind of like, all right, how do I branch out from just Gardena? And I kind of took it from the old when I used to rap. I would throw Gardena in all my songs, and the city loved me. You know what I mean? And I noticed that it just kind of held me into Gardena. Nobody in Torrance or Carson or Compton is gonna bump my shit because it says Gardena all over it. So then from there, that's when I was like, shit, I need to do stuff on a bigger scale. KAINOA Creations, which is my son's name. Started the brand under him, so he's actually my business partner, and he gets half of everything that I make goes to him now as a to start his college fund. You know what I mean? So the money goes to a good place. It's not going to me. It's going to him, and then the money I make, my portion of the money folds back into the brand to make more shit and stuff. But being creative and being able to design shit and kind of just compete with myself and keep keeping my shit fresh and seeing what's out there and seeing what I like and what I don't like and creating shit is, but that's like the fun part for me. That's what writing was too. Was it was just blank piece of paper, creating a song out of nothing, and then standing back and looking at what you created. You know what I mean? And that's the driving force behind designing shit now. Is come up with something cool. I'll use Snapchat as a fucking kind of like a buffer as to what I put out. I'll snap everybody. I snap you. I snap all my homies. And the feedback that I get from there is what gets printed and what doesn't. And I don't consider all my friends and cousins and shit tastemakers, but I value the opinion on what people say. You know what I mean? So
exactly,
it's a easy, sneaky way of doing things, and then what's gonna sell or what I want to put out or what I think will make money. Because it's a gamble, dumping a ton of money into something and then people not taking to it, and then you're just left with a fucking abundance of shirts. You could wear all the extra larges that you fit in, but every other size you're asked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the scary part is the commitment of printing a ton of shit. You know what I mean? And I think that's what scares a lot of people away when they're starting their own brands. Is you want to make something that's kind of mimic something that you see out there. A lot of people. I have a YouTube channel called Big Brandoh where I give a ton of advice and tips and shit on starting a clothing brand. And a lot of the emails and shit that I get is always people saying, you know, I really like Supreme and I kind of want to make my shit limited like Supreme. And the shit I always tell people is you don't have the Supreme following to do that. Like, that's cool. You want to make 24 shirts, but you need to think bigger on getting that shirt onto a ton of people so you could scale it back like Supreme. And but a lot of people want that same business model, but I think it's more because they don't want to invest a ton of money into stock. You know what I mean? But I think it's just the gamble that you need. If you fucking super into it and you stand behind it, man, like, you'll make it work. You know what I mean? Exactly. If you could sell shit, you'll make it work. And that's where I came up with slanging shit. That's how I got my name. NONSTOP was just slanging stuff, and I've always just wanted to make money. So that's how that shit worked. Was I want to fucking, if I'm gonna have this shirt, I'm gonna make sure I sell that shit. This shit's gonna sell for sure, and it works.
And that's, if you don't take anything away from this, at least take that away. You know what I mean? Like, not just don't be scared, because it's scary, but you know, just do it. You know, and you gotta do it.
That's what
it's
it
is.
The
only way to get it going is you gotta do it.
If not, you're just gonna sit back and somebody else is gonna have that same idea. And I get a lot of young kids that hit me up off the YouTube shit, and it's like, hey man, I'm 16-year-old, I'm in high school. And I was telling them, like, that's the best place to do shit, because high school is a big ass fashion show. And if you could get your shirt on whoever's the most popular in your school, you're for sure gonna fucking sell them. You know what I mean? And I give these little tips and shit to these high school kids, and some of them actually do it. Some of them are scared to do it. But man, scared money don't make money. That's something that my uncle that put me on the game early on, that's what he's telling me. Scared money don't make money. And from then I've always did that shit. Was if I thought it was gonna be dope, I just said fuck it, throw some money into it and make the shit happen. And if it doesn't take to it, at least sell the shit at cost. Sell it at it costs you $5 to make. Sell the shirts for $5. At least you could recoup the money and turn it into another idea or something, man. You know?
But yeah, anything for the future though that you got coming up? You know, like I said, you know,
Leftovers, man. Leftovers is where I'm putting all my leftover designs that had no real home for
Mm-hmm.
KAINOA Creations or Gardena Originals. And I got a lot of other shit that I wanted to put out that had nothing to go up under. So
Mm-hmm.
leftovers is gonna be it. And it's more so when you think about leftovers, it's the shit that you bring home. You know what I mean? A meal could be good as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just throw it away. You actually want to bring it home so you can eat it for later. So it's more of being humble and hungry at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Leftovers is the new brand, the new thing that I'm gonna be pushing under KAINOA Creations, and I got a ton of stuff coming out for that, man.
Nice.
And I'm gonna be doing a ton of events this year. But my homie from Local Roots, he's gonna be plugging me up.
Nice.
With a bunch of different events, so we're gonna be sharing a booth.
You got next to it, hold there, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
That dude's super cool, and he's doing really big things right now too with a Bong that does tattoos. He has a dope collab with them coming out, and he also the Others Bicycle Club is he's doing a big collab with them too. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I guess I was gonna ask you if you got any closing statements or anything like that, but you kind of already hit it. Kind of the stuff I was gonna say about that. But all right, so the little thing I'm going to do at the end of every single one of these, and we're kind of winding down now.
For sure.
So you had a MySpace.
Yeah.
A lot of us had MySpaces.
Yeah.
And so on the MySpace, it was a top 8.
Yeah.
Right? It was your top 8 friends.
Yeah.
You can adjust it. So I got this little thing to the end is top 8.
All right.
So it's your top 8.
Yeah.
And then just 8 things that, the top of that. I'm just going to throw it out there and you say that's your favorite thing or whatever. So the first one is top 8, or the first one I'm saying is your favorite shoe. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is, but I gotta ask it. Your favorite
Air Max
shoe.
95, man. The Neon 95. And the only reason that's my favorite shoe is when that shit came out, the price tag was $130. I took my dad. Me and my dad went to the store. We're at Foot Locker. He said $130, and I walked out of there with some Reebok Classics, man. And this is 1995 when that shoe dropped, and I was just bummed, bro. And I just remember that shoe was just so ugly that it was dope to me.
Yeah.
And my dad was just like, "Why do you want that?" And it wasn't because it wasn't even out yet. This is when it first came out, and nobody had it, so nobody influenced me. It was just walking into the store, seeing it, and was like, "Fuck, that shit is dope!" Like the gradient, everything.
Yeah.
Since then, that's been I'll always buy that shoe forever.
Yeah, that's what I kind of knew. I knew it was 95. The 95. All right.
Yeah.
Next one, top favorite car.
Favorite car.
You're kind of into cars too, right?
Yeah. Favorite car to me is always going to be 61 Impala. That's a 61 Impala rag. It is the dream car, the car. Super into lowriders when I was younger. I kind of dabbled into it a little bit when I was younger, but 61 Impala. That'll be it. 61 rag, man.
Nice. Favorite sports team. It could be any sport. If it's multiple sports too, you got so mainly, but any sport.
Favorite sports team. I'm a Steeler fan, and I kind of inherited being a Steeler fan because my Uncle Joe, who was I was really close with, I still am, was a Steeler fan. So it was kind of one of those things when I was younger, oh shit, I need to root for somebody. I'm gonna root for the Steelers because my uncle always does, and then I kind of just ended up growing to love them. But I'm gonna be a Laker fan forever. Kobe or no Kobe, Laker fan forever.
Exactly. And then favorite movie.
Favorite movie, man. I got a gang of them.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife this too, that some shit will come on, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's my favorite movie." So I don't know if I can narrow it down to one, but Harlem Nights is one of them. Beach Street.
Ooh.
And be like a toss up between Goodfellas and Bronx Tale, but.
Nice.
For sure, if Harlem Nights is ever on, I don't care where it is, I'll always watch it because it's gangster and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
And then Beach Street, that was just, man, I've always loved that movie.
All right, what about favorite TV show? Could be now, could be one that you watch now or all time too, just whichever.
Workaholics. That was one that that shit, when I caught that show, smoking, and I was just I was rolling like crazy, and then I didn't even know it was a real show. I thought it was a movie when I was watching it, and then I was like, man, they can't be doing this stuff on regular TV. And then I was like, so I ended up really liking that show. But all-time show would probably have to be Martin, man. Martin was funny as hell. I still catch it on BET sometimes and stuff, but yeah, Martin was good.
Classic. Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
WZUP will always be classic. Like,
Yeah.
WZUP. Like, come on. All right. Was it favorite concert or show or event that you ever been to?
Oh damn.
I know we've been to a lot.
Yeah, we've been to a ton
lot,
of them.
yeah.
We go to a lot of reggae shows together. The Steel Pulse shows that we used to go to at Hollywood Park will
RIP.
always be dope.
R.I.P.
There's one that I could really point out was we were in the crowd, and I think you were at this one too. And the dudes from Catch a Fire.
Oh yeah.
And they ended up just jamming with us, like next to us in the crowd. And what was crazy was the week before that they performed in Long Beach, and me and Todd went to that show.
Oh, okay.
And then that following weekend, that Friday, we went to the Steel show, and they were there, and that shit was crazy, man. That was a dope one. And Bob Fest, the last Bob Fest
damn.
Actually, not the last one, which was dope, but the year before that, I went with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
That was my brother's first time going ever. And we seen Barrington, Gregory Isaac before he died. We seen a ton of people that year, but Gregory Isaac, I remember, was dope. Barrington was super dope. And I remember the Green was the opening band.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my brother were right at the front because nobody knew who they were.
Yeah.
Like, they were inside, but nobody knew who they were. And there was maybe like 15 people there, and they still put on ill ass show. But seeing Barrington and Gregory that time was super dope.
That's why me and my brother, we were too young to go.
Yeah.
We always wanted to go, but we were like, dude, there's
and then when you guys were old enough, they shut them down.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, but we always like, my mom would never let us go.
Yeah,
like, God, you're like, damn it, dude.
And
like,
what's funny about that one was my cousin Todd. That dude's a big stoner. And he was there with all of his homies.
Big up Todd.
Yeah, big up Todd, Ross Todd. And this dude was so smoked out by the time Barrington and Gregory came on at the end of the night. By the time Barrington came on, the crowd was so packed. Todd was so high, he couldn't even stand. The crowd was holding that fool up. Eyes were closed, and the crowd was holding him up. So he was swaying with the crowd.
Damn.
My brother still remembers that shit, and he always brings it up. Super funny.
Oh, man, shit. But, yeah, I always tell people, like, if you could, like, people see, like, your dream concert, you can see anybody. Like, it would be either, like Jimi Hendrix is in there for me, and then, like, Gregory Isaacs, too. Like, I wish I could see Gregory Isaacs, man.
Yeah.
But
for me, it would be, I always wanted to see Oswald. And, my uncles tell me that we seen them at the Velodrome at the old reggae festivals when we were super young, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But Oswald's one of my favorite bands, so I would love to see them and Bob.
Yeah, and Bob, of course.
That's like
Yeah, of course. It's exactly. It's like it's kind of like
when
you say, who would you bring back from the dead?
Yeah,
It's kind of like, it's implied. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of implied, but
yeah.
All right. No, number 7, favorite alcoholic drink, or non-alcoholic.
Yeah, Crown Royal would be my. Yeah, Crown is at the top for me. I'm a beer drinker too, but Crown will always be the first love.
For sure. All right, when you've had too much Crown, favorite drunk food. Late night.
Oh man, favorite late night drunk food will probably be Jack in the Box, man. And it'll be like a gang of tacos and the double burger that has bacon. I don't remember
the ultimate cheeseburger.
I think so. It's like the whatever the combo is, but it's the double cheeseburger that has bacon on it, and that's like the always go to drunk move.
Yeah.
With like as many tacos as I could stuff in my face. And for some reason, tacos only taste good when you're at night or when you're loaded, but during the day, they don't taste the same, man.
Right? It's always the same thing. But people try to... The only taco that tastes good all day? Taco Bell. I'll fight you if you say... I'll fight you if you think otherwise.
Yeah, I could get down with Taco Bell tacos.
And I'm not talking about just talking about everything else. The breakfast
food. I actually only had that once. I've never... it was the one that looks like a little crunch wrap thing.
It's bomb. Yeah. It's bomb. But, all right, that's all about I got. If you want to say, you got anything else you want to say, you go ahead. You can plug all your where they can find you on like.
You can find me on everything under Big Brandoh. All my shit's private because I kind of just use it for family. But if you really want to hit me up, YouTube, just look up Big Brandoh. That's kind of what I'm pushing right now. Only because there's money involved. You make money off it if you watch my videos. But also the content that I'm putting out is super beneficial if you're trying to like really. If you're an up and comer, if you're already going, like my information wouldn't be useful for you. But if you're up and coming, that's who I'm really targeting my channel to is dudes that kind of have nobody to talk to about it or no information on how to get a wholesale license, registering your brand name, just getting legal, and then also printing options. You know what I mean? Silk screen, DTG, heat press, shit like that. Talk about cost efficient ways for like young dudes to kind of make a little bit of extra money.
For sure, man. You got you got any like handles like Twitter, IG, stuff like that for leftovers?
Oh yeah, eat leftovers.
Okay,
eat
cool.
leftovers.
I
with a Z.
I don't even know.
I started it a while ago. I haven't posted anything up, but I'll start promoting it this year. That's when I'm planning on launch everything January 1st. And eatleftovers.com. And then also have a women's line coming out too called Too Cute with a K. Yeah, TOOKUTE.
This is news to me too.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of dope. My wife's gonna kind of run that, and it'll be like workout wear, shit like that.
Nice.
But it'll be cool shit for girls because I really didn't have any lady offerings on any of my other stuff. So this will be a cool way to kind of get it going.
So it's like athletic, were you saying?
Yeah, kind of like
all the athleisure bays.
That's what it is.
Yeah, all the athleisure bays.
That's like the actual like kind of like cool chilling clothes for girls now. It's like workout wear.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna kind of
cool, man.
gear towards.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, if you like what you heard, go ahead. The deal. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. You can follow everything down in the handles below. All that stuff. You know where to find me. And Brandon, appreciate you doing this, man.
Thanks, brother.
Been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, man, we've been trying to get it going for a little while. Schedule's been kind of messed up.
Yeah,
but and shout out to Jackson, man, because he just helped paint this whole motherfucker right here, man.
No,
yeah, man.
It wasn't just me.
Yeah, hey, man.
It wasn't just me.
Yeah, man. Nah, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah,
That shit was cool.
Problem, man. Thanks. So, like I said, follow everything. Not just me. Follow all of Brandon's stuff too. Check them out: Instagram, Twitter. Do you have Facebook or no?
Nah, no Facebook.
Yeah, see, because Facebook's dead. Yeah. Facebook's whack. Facebook's whack. So, that's it.
Cool.
Peace, everybody. All right, let me stop this.
Hell yeah. How long did that shit run?
For a while, actually. But it was because of the